Howdy homies, we are back with another round of Hamster vs. the Shambler. We got 4 games to get through in today's video, so I'm sure it won't be 47 minutes long like the last one. Let's find out if I'm correct or not. We got one more Alpha XY, and then we move on to some other maps. It's going to be the Shambler as our red Terran in the bottom left. He is sending a Mason out immediately, so I'm sure there will be shenanigans. We did actually see him do a, forward stockade. I can't remember who that was versus. It might have been I Like to Eat Grass, something like that. Anyway, Hamster's in the top right here, and he has a peculiar color. This one is, it's not Delft Blue. Oh, I know this one. It's like Midnight Green, but it's not Midnight Green. Dark Spring Green is what I was thinking. Anyway, I actually think it is Midnight Green, so I was right. Forward stockade, it's a bit closer to Shambler's main base, so not as aggressive as before, but there is a Droleth scout on the way, and obviously it will come down the middle of the map here. So I would not be surprised to see this Larvosk opener turn into something a bit more defensive for Hamster. He did win that last match that we casted. It was a long one. And as a reminder, the maps that we have coming up are Spinaltap, Cold Sweat, and Demilune. So expecting some nice matches there. I actually haven't seen Demilune a lot. It's a little bit of an older map, and so people have been moving on to the testing ones, as somewhat predicted. This stockade's going to finish up as Hamster scouts it. So Huracan coming out there. The second stockade will be scouted on the open ground. This feels like something that once the pool goes down, it's actually going to be a den. If you went pool versus this, you'd feel pretty good about that, just because you can quickly scramble some Zeths and then kind of mess with this, or just run by directly into the main base. But we'll see what Shambler does. He's actually putting down another forward stockade. This is like daisy chain of bioproduction from our Shambler Terran. So this is a very bizarre, spur-of-the-moment kind of build, it feels like. That doesn't necessarily mean... Ooh, nice blocking there. It doesn't necessarily mean that Shambler hasn't planned this. It just means that's what it looks like to me, is like he's been overtaken by the urge to make Ahmed. So the first one is about to arrive. This is coming as the circuit will finish pretty soon, so Huracans will not be able to get too much done, it feels like. That's actually really good timing there for Hamster's sake. Procreated a he's referencing the fact that I just keep making, like, bio only. I usually don't make Huracans with that. I know that might sound like absolute insanity, but I do prefer my Mavericks in this kind of situation. Just spamming Mavericks, I feel like they either win or lose, but they do so much faster. Like, I don't think that there is much of a potential value add in adding Huracan super early on. Oh, okay. He's talking about the Khazidrith. Okay. I probably did. I mean, I wasn't sure anybody would even bother making it, so I did initially pivot it as stronger than the original concept. Well, this is going to be all she wrote for those Huracans, unfortunately, so it gets one tick off on the attack there, but yeah, the Mavericks were not all together, so not super ideal there. Hamster is still making nothing but mass Hydra as he continues to heck all the workers back here. And I'd still think if you worked in 4 Izira cores into this build somewhere, I mean, I know that's like a very odd number to pick. It's actually an even number. Another stockade, 4th stockade going down in the front lines. But you just trounce the bio in this kind of situation if you go for something like that. So yeah, he's forcing stims out. You know, that's good. A lot of stims, in fact. So it feels like a misclick there from Shambler. He just took double stim damage. And so as the circuit finishes up, he's going to need to prank that stim button again. The ski backed already on the way here for Hamster. He should have lost a Hydra there, but not sure if it was poor control or what from Shambler. Doesn't end up getting it. And yeah, at this point, I don't actually believe that the Mavericks will get too much done. You can just burrow the Droleths here and avoid losing any of them yet. So one of them goes down. The ski back is scouted. And so that's pretty much a wrap for the Mavericks being able to do anything. The Droleths spring back into action. And one of the Hydras will finally go... No, never mind. Not actually going down. And this Droleth still being annoying by Hamster. He's definitely done a good job sort of slowly whittling down the Mason health pool collectively. Maybe not. Maybe this is the same target over and over again. Wasn't paying too close of attention. We do have a couple of Masons by the Treasury at the... I guess you could call that Interior 9, but whatever. The left Treasury is being mined by Shambler. So we got Bactylisks coming. We got an Izira core hatching. I don't think that Shambler has much of a future going into this. He still hasn't harvested any Vespian, so he's very much, it feels all in. He's got 18 Mavericks. That is a lot of Mavericks. But as the first Bactylus finishes, I think the timing it entirely falls apart if there's like 2 or 3 Bactyls active in Hamster's army. He's about to get his second finishing, so like I think at that point it just becomes too much, right? The Aziricores do need to get in on the ground floor here. Bactylus should be firing this whole time. The Aziricores are going to get focused down. The circuit's absorbing a lot of damage here. Bactyls still not firing all the time that they could. So that trade ends up being pretty favorable for Hamster. The Mavericks are going to have to fall back. And look at this, the Droleth just walking around here, scouting the Masons, continuing to wander forward. Aziricore and Hydra very low. They will end up being brought down. This is the opportunity where you can maybe jump on this Bactylus. That should be one dead. The other one is not going to be able to be felled. Hamster's got a decent amount of cash to splash in the bank. He can definitely still stay alive here. I mean, the one circuit is in danger if those Mavericks are allowed to cleanly attack it, so good pullback there from Shambler, but at the same time, I don't know what's going on with Hamster's micro, dude. Something was really wrong there. It's like he sent a few of his his units back while the other ones were still trying to move forward. A Hatrosk on the front here just to spend down the money. No, he cancels it. He's not... Okay, now he's going to go back to it. All right. Yeah, it feels like Hamster's struggling in a position that he really shouldn't. I mean, Mavericks are good. I like Mavericks, and people do underrate them, but they shouldn't be excelling to the degree that they are here. And that's obviously notwithstanding some of the foibles here. Wow, 3 more stockades. Yeah, Shambler has obviously had a few micro slip-ups in the middle of these fights. So an Ovaleth coming, that's going to allow him to range down the Mavericks with the Bactyls. Once he gets to a key amount, it's definitely going to be over here. We got 4 of them already, and the Stim's obviously going to make them juicy targets. That Kagrant will get sniped down, but I don't know if it was worth it exactly. He did lose a good number of Mavericks for it. Oh, he's going to lose even more. So many of these were wounded, remember. They try to close the distance, but they're only good to kill 2 of the 5 Hydras, and of course the Bactyls are still alive. Here come the Stims. They are going to see if they can pick off another target, but yeah, it's over, dude. You're going to need to start harvesting that Vespene, my man. Stubborn, though. Shambler obviously likes to throw his head into the wall, and either the wall breaks or he does. In this case, it doesn't look like Hamster is going to break. Hamster is the wall, the Zerg wall, the flesh wall. We get 7 Mavericks being made at a time, produced from all walks of life. The Hydra drop will kill the Masons in the main base and force them to stop mining, because presumably there's not going to be any defense there. And Shambler is just entirely... Like, I feel like this is a game where I should just speed up. Because, like, we know what's going to happen. This is on repeat, dude. It's just Mavericks failing to break the Zerg base because it's just Mavericks. We've got Watchdogs being put down here, but that is not going to help you versus the drop. And the Stockades are not leaving behind any reinforcements. So, one Maverick got waypointed in there. I don't know what was going on there exactly. He will have scouted the absence of the Hydra. Whether he recognizes that or not is another thing, because it could have been turned into Bactyls. So it's not a foregone conclusion that 3 Hydras of all things were, expended. Now it looks like Hamster's going to go ahead and do a scouting mission. 32 Mavericks await him. He doesn't want to try to take his natural under those circumstances. He scouts no natural from Shambler, and as the Masons are going to start garrisoning the treasury to the right. So his Ovaleth is going to move in. It was spotted by that Mason, but it doesn't look like Shambler paid much attention. And the Hydras are going to go ahead and unload right here, right now, start, mincing through the 15 or so Masons that are here. Meanwhile, the Mavericks are engaging in. They are going to run in. The Aziricores were not in a good position. That one circuit should be brought down. There's another one in the back. Kagrant was being mutated. This is not going to work out for Shambler, though. His Mavericks are all very, very low, and he has not done enough critical damage to the Bactylus count while losing all of the Masons in his main base. So, yep, that's pretty much as I predicted and expected. I don't think Shambler can break the position. He could actually lose this fight as well. He's very confident, and Hamster is not positioning his units very well, but even still, he will just clean this up. Like, you can't beat this with pure Maverick. I applaud the attempt. I applaud the effort. And now Shambler will go ahead and extend the game for even longer, I suppose. 13. Well, there's a decent number of Mavericks here. I still feel like it's going to be mulched by a few more Aziricores, a few more Bactyls. I don't think that he can deal with the ramp in particular. He can try to stem up it. And again, Hamster's positioning has been pretty poor. Like, you can criticize that. He could have been trading much better, but yeah, as of right now, it's the Hamster show. His Bactyls are going to get surrounded. The Aziricore not quite able to deal with that, but we have 4 more coming, and the Bactyls turn around to get a few bounce attacks over. So that's a wrap for the big Bio Force. Shambler down to about 4 Mavericks and dropping. He is making as many as he can at the same time. He's airlifted his ministry over to the other location, and the Hydra is dancing in his grave, basically. I agree. And that'll be it. That'll be it, Shambler. That'll be it, Shambler. Shambler, that'll be it. What? Why would he make Skiths? Why would he go Skiths versus Mass Bio? Maybe. Like, in what universe does it even make sense to do that? I understand he's talking about the fact that the Skiths were made in the last game, but, like, this is not all because he made Skiths, or he didn't make Skiths. This is all because you refused to harvest Vespine. And listen, I appreciate it. That's my game. That's my shtick. I don't harvest the power resource. I go Gasless Gary. And by the way, the latest release of the game will feature Gasless Gary. If you use that ID, you will get minerals from geysers instead of gas. So that's my next move. You know, you can. That's like my instead of a cheat code, as Vik put it, it's a challenge code. Oh, there's a Maverick intrusion. Need to make some Izira cores to deal with that. I don't know why Shambler is still in this game. I mean, like, this army is just going to crush through this, presumably. Just by accident, moving through the 13 Mavericks over here. Especially with the micro happening out on this side. He's going to snipe some Kagrants. There's a pool coming. Yeah, that's a wrap for these guys, and the Izira cores weren't even activated. So, you know, like, I guess in theory, he could have maybe stemmed and killed the Hatcherosks or something and won by elimination. Would not have been a genuine class of victory, obviously, but yeah, the Hamster's still just doing. He's just like, yeah, why is my opponent still in the game? What's going on here? And I agree, Hamster. I don't know why your opponent is still in the game. Why are we watching this game? Why was this game submitted? That's another good question. I mean, it's all well and good if it's like 5 minutes of silly, and that's like our palate cleanser or our starter, you know? But in this situation, Shambler should have left the game about 10 minutes ago, you know, because it's 12 minutes in, and 2 minutes in, it was obvious that he was, you know, wink. But he's still rebuilding. Okay, well, I'm going to go ahead and fast forward, because this is outrageous. Shambler is banned from submitting replays ever again, obviously. He cannot be trusted. Somebody else can submit replays where Shambler played. Like Neblime submitted a replay between him and Shambler, or asked Shambler to submit a replay, and that was very reasonable. But some of these replays, man, they are just not it. They are just not it. All right, so you know, maybe Shambler can submit and somebody else can verify. I ain't gonna do that. All right, boys, we'll be back with part 2. Stay tuned. Switched over to a real man's map. It's Spinaltap. Of course, I get to say that because it's my map, and I am a real man. Now, Hamster is in the top right. He is once again our Midnight Green Zerg player. And it looks like he will be going for a 6-pool versus the Shambler, who is going for a fast stockade. He is our red Terran in the bottom left. So the 6-pool could definitely continue to tilt Shambler. He has described this matchup as having to pull his hair out or whatever as he tries to solve it. That was back in the Acropolis 2 era, if you will. A lot has changed since then. A lot has changed since these games were played, to be honest with you guys. Like, we've got Ridge Caps now. We've got Nexus Power Field. We've got... Did Terran get anything? I don't think so. Terran will probably get, like, unnerfed Blackjack or something. But overall, I think what I'm sensing and seeing is that the meta is probably going to get shaken up quite a bit. And I'm here for it, and I also don't really mind it too much, because the odds of us getting a tournament with like Acropolis number 3, like that's coming in a few months or something, right? So I'm not worried about like making sure the game is balanced right now. I'm worried about making sure the game is epic, and I'm going to be working on things like, you know, increasing the single player content that we have on offer, and factional stuff, and all these cool features. Hamster is going to be working on sending his Zethar cores across the map, and the first Huracan is already done, so in theory, this looks like Shambler is almost blind predicting the 6-pool. Oh, actually, the first Huracan is done and moving across the map. So Shambler still hasn't noticed this, by the way. He's going to notice it now when the first Zeth heckles him. And this is actually going to wound the Huracan quite a bit. Not quite kill it, but you can see they're not necessarily great in isolation. Now, splashing them down, that's going to definitely be a different story. Stimmed Maverick is going to go ahead and give chase, but will need to be pulled back. A little bit of a wonky control from the Zeths out of Hamster, so that is not super ideal. He's going to fall back. He has made a Larvosk, and you can think conceptually that maybe he's trying to go for some kind of macro strat, but he didn't make any military units behind this despite spotting the Hurakan earlier, right? So maybe he thought that the Hurakan came back, but it's actually in his base. So there's another K-Grunt. He can just fight this. He can kill it in like 4 hits? No, 5 hits. But he's going to wait for the Quas to do the job, I suppose. Almost loses a worker for that because of he didn't want to target the low HP Hurakan. One of those things where I feel like players need to get in the habit. We don't have like always display HP bars, and I don't even know if I like that as an idea personally. I would prefer some kind of diegetic read if possible, like having the units look withered in, you know, once they're below half health or something, and that's like enough of a breakpoint, kind of like how the Blackjack currently works, but if that were for every unit, right, visually. But anyway. Regardless of how you feel about having it or not having it, the people got to get in the habit of just clicking on the one unit. You know what I mean? Like, just, hey, it's one unit. Let me click on it to see its health. And I understand that maybe he doesn't even realize his Zethrakor attacked the Hurakan. So in the moment, it might not be something, but I do like to do that. They mostly, I think they fell out of favor doing that because in Cosmonarchy, we don't have tiered upgrades anymore. So unless it's a unit you've never seen before, it's going to be like, why would I click on that unit though? By the way, this Hurakan will die. Ooh, butchered. Eviscerated and destroyed. Flanked, even. That's advantage on attack rolls, you know? All right, the Khaz'trith is up. So he's going to try to hold with the Quas. Now, this will be beautiful. If the Quas with Khaz'trith beat this many Mavericks, I will probably admit that they are OP. Oh, there's more Quas coming, though. This is starting to get a little bit more even. We got 12 Mavericks coming in stimmed. They're going to just go ahead and try to do the fight. Yeah, this is not looking too good for the Mavericks. That being said, he has more that he could be using. He's going to go ahead and stim after him. You know, the Quas count is dwindling here. Remember, if they aren't firing back, that's kind of a problem. Yeah, oh yeah, big time. See? The Khaz'trith is not OP. Look at how easy it was for Shambler. He didn't even use his 3 extra Mavericks. He's just stimming and running around the base being a nuisance. Now, the circuits coming in will be a much harder ask for the Mavericks to deal with. So, oh, look at that. They get never mind. Don't listen to me. They get sniped. The Mavericks come in and just absolutely butcher them. And, well, those ones got cleaned up back there. Obviously, this does make the Quas a bit more cost efficient in the trade. So I do think maybe he should have massed up a few more Mavericks, you know? But I also recognize that, like, well, what if the circuit gets in there and then it's entrenched and I can't do anything? So for those who don't know, because the Khaz'trith is a pretty new structure, it basically, if you see this yellowish overlay on the unit, they will target up to 2 extra targets near their main target for half damage. So you can imagine that is essentially 100% DPS increase, but Mavericks are still really, really strong. So we are seeing the stim in full effect. Now that circuit is probably going to finish. Oh, or is it? Because the Quas are all gone. Oh man, Shambler I think hesitated a little bit too much. Now he's going to end up losing a bit more than he wanted to, but still only getting 2 shots off. That is not bad at all. And it looks like Shambler's bio will reign supreme after the failed 6 pool. The Khaz'trith is gone. And the K-Grunt is gone with it. It's pure Quas here, and that is not going to be enough as the Mavericks wrap around. GG is called. Hamster has been submitted to the cast over replay mega thread with a loss. Geez. Don't you hate it when Shambler submits a replay with you? All right, so that is a wrap for that one. Hey, but we got 2 more games, so let's move on to them. Well, Shambler is on an ice map, no less, the White Terran in the top left. I thought he was going to forward stockade, but it's actually like a 6 stockade, so it's kind of like that. It's slightly forward. And Hamster's down here as our Periwinkle Zerg. Ooh, but it's Deep Periwinkle. Yeah, sorry, dude. I'm probably never going to guess Deep Periwinkle when it's Periwinkle. If they type a message, I will immediately get it, but that feels like cheating. So, all right, so what does Hamster do? He's harvesting Vespene already, so it could be that he's going to be going for the Larvosk opener into Pool, which would be potentially dangerous versus the 6 stockade. The only time I've seen 6 stockade before that I can immediately pull is when Neblime did it in Ascension number 7 playoffs. It was game 2 versus Veek 7. It was TVP. And it wasn't over from there, but it did give Neblime a little bit of an advantage because he 6 stockaded, instant Hurakan, sent it across the map. And that was when Hurakans were a little bit different. They weren't as beefy. Oh, it's a Zorka's push. Okay. This is going to be really interesting because the 6 stockade obviously comes online really fast. The Zorka Shroud does take a long time to finish. That one Hurakan might get a lot of damage. And again, maybe it'll be like that last game where, or rather the game that I just referenced where the 6 stockader doesn't win the game off of the 6 stockade, but he does get into an interesting and playable position from that spot. Maybe he gets some kind of advantage, right? So we'll have to wait and see on that front. Now, the Shroud is coming up, and I feel like this is... Both of our players have decided to be very cheesy. The first Hurakan almost there, second Hurakan leaving the gates now. Shroud is about to finish. The Shroud will finish as this Hurakan gets pretty close to the natural here, which is pretty scary, because now it's like 40 seconds or 30 seconds or whatever it is for the Zoryus. Yeah, I think it's like 25, 30 seconds. A lake is coming. So he's going to have to fend the Hurakan off with nothing but Droleths. This is not what you want, my man. Oh, no, I'm being cheesed while I cheese. Well, he's got some damage. He's going to lose a Hurakan. I mean, a Droleth. Oh, it died to fire. Died in the fire. Ooh, fend it off. Fend it off. No, you let him go. Oh, you attacked your own unit. Oh, God. Oh, my God. He could have died this whole time. You could have just killed him. You could have killed that Ahmed. Oh, my goodness. Oh, the fire. He's dead 5 Droleths, dude. Well, I think from that amount of damage, Shambler is going to be very happy. R. What, ready? You ready now? You want to start the game now? Okay. What the fuck? I don't, dude, I couldn't tell you. What even is Shambler? What even is Shambler, dude? Besides a typist. Alright, a couple of Brood Spawn did get spawned by the Hurakan attack, so that'll multiply the DPS a little bit. Obviously, when they die, they ensnare for about a second, so that helps as well. With the Mavericks coming online, though, I don't think that Shambler is in any danger. I know there's a couple Lakes out. I think there's only one with the army, though. And the Brood Spawn are actually going to die because they're moving away from the Zoryus. So that is a bit unfortunate. They'll get an ensnare off. But obviously, once again, Hamster leading with the Lake is a bold and interesting choice. He's going to go ahead and burrow the other one, though. That should send Shambler back. It's not going to, though. He's going to commit to it, and he will reveal one of the Lake is there as he tries to step on all of it. But that is going to be it for the Hurakans. And then, oh man, that last Spine even killing 2 more Mavericks. This doesn't feel like the kind of move you want to make if you're in the Shambler's shoes. But, you know, yeah, Mavericks alone are not going to deal with the Zoryus anyway, not in that number. They're fast approaching a point where they can duel like only 2 Zoryus, right? So it's not the end of the world. These games have been so deranged, dude. Starpad on the way here for the Shambler. 3 Cyprians. Okay, so it looks like we're going to get a drop-off here. That's sort of the vibe I'm getting. We have seen that Shambler does like to go for the Anseal, though, so he's a fan of that unit. He even bountied to make it work better, which some have considered pay to win. No, there was like a concession that we had to make technologically speaking in our previous version of the unit that we were thinking about maybe fixing, but it would take a lot of effort, and Shambler decided, hey, like I would like the unit better if it worked this way, and so I'm going to bounty it. And so like we were talking about how that would have been the way that we wanted to make it work. It was just a lot of work. So he bounted it, Vic did it. It was great. I think he got his money's worth, because he did make Night Fox rage out with it. So, but in large part due to the fact that it works that way. So a single Gorg has been made. The Larvosk is here. The Hatch is here. We got an Anseal coming indeed, so there's no Trojan. I thought maybe the Cyprians were going to be in a drop. That's why I was thinking about the drop. One Zoryus just kind of patrolling back and forth here. Still no expansion for either player. Obviously, Shambler has been harvesting Vespine this game, which is a change unto itself. We got 4 Stockade. The one Gorg I don't think is going to get too much done, but there is a chance for him to get some Mason kills or at least disrupt mining. It depends on how, like, when he comes in the production cycle. If Mavericks just finish, like, Mavericks are always just finishing because they're only 11 seconds. So it does feel to me like the Gorg will probably get apprehended pretty fast. But it'll be frustrating for Shambler. He was free of harassment this whole time, so he's going to go ahead and have to get heckled there, so he's going to pull them. Wisely, he is not drilling them onto something else. Not that oh yeah, I guess he could drill them onto that, because that would make them all stack up, right? So the Gorg has only killed 2 Masons. We'll count to 3, and then he'll fly away. But he disrupted mining time, so there is that. Scouting the top right here is where Veek has put the Hatchrusk in the Crucible. This is a Veek map. Triple Anseal, but remember, the detection is there from... Or, sorry, Triple Lake is, but the detection is there. Courtesy of Mr. Shambler. I guess we could color code the detector status yellow, just because it's familiar to people, right? Lake is continuing. Hydrith Den on the way here for Hamster. A fourth lake is... The Zori is just standing guard, placidly. Well, he's going to need to fall back here. This is potentially dangerous. Remember, there's more Leikas coming. It feels like this force is not going to be big enough to deal with the... Oh my god, what a massacre from those spines, my man. Oh, he still ends up killing a few of them. There's 2 more left. But the Cyprian's a lot... No, don't step into them with Cyprians. He could have maybe killed that top one, but engaging into the convection point or convergence point of those 2 is very, very rough. Yeah, you get a kill. He's trying to shield it with the Ant-Seals, which doesn't suck, but the problem is the one that had full energy was all the way off to the side, so this one should be easily cleared up. You remember, you're burrowing in front of a detector, so that's not really going to work out too well for you. The one Cyprian, though, is unlikely to kill the Leikas, I guess. Well, with the Ant-Seals protecting it, it could be. It's kind of an interesting position to be in. Oh, the Gorgor has arrived. Will it ever kill it? It's got to get through all of the Ant-Seal shielding. I don't think it's going to get through all the Ant-Seal shielding, my guys. All right, the lake is going to go ahead and burrow. That will help deal with it. All right, that's a wrap for that attack. The Hydras come out, the Ant-Seals have to scatter. Well, he's starting to saturate this area with a couple of Masons. He's pretty low on mineral workers here. Yeah, he's only got 10 mineral harvesters. This is a very low eco game. Maverick's getting caught in the natural. This is probably a position where Hamster can take his nat. He has been very, very low on workers, though. So he's going to do a round of those and see about where his bank leaves him off at with the Hydrith Den complete. A couple Hydras out. The one Watchdog will zone off any Gorgor remakes, but he killed the Gorg, so he should feel pretty confident. I think if I kill the Gorg, I probably delay my round of anti-air and my heavy committal into anti-air pretty late. Like, this makes sense for Shambler to make one Watchdog, in case, like, he forgets later or something, but... You know, if you wanted to add 2 more somewhere else, that you could do that in a minute as opposed to right now, which lets you fit in other things to your build order. One Hydra is going to get bopped. Can't be losing units like that if you're in Hamster's shoes. This looks very, very dangerous for him. He's only got the 1 Leikas. He is making 2 more. I think he's actually going to have to cancel his hatch. Like, I don't see how he can hold it. So it feels a little bit boisterous for him to be exploring. One thing that I've noticed out of Shambler is if you attack his army or like reference his army with your army in any way, like if he sees your army and he doesn't just lose his army, he will attack. It triggers an attack from him. It's like a very obvious call and response thing, right? Like as soon as he sees your army, he will attack into your base. It's like you remind him that he can attack. Whoa. So the reason I say that, and I'm trying to keep notice of that, is as a result, Hamster playing to his opponent shouldn't be like sending out 1 unit. This is the kind of stuff I think about in the middle of the game. I think about like, oh, so-and-so doesn't do this very well. I'm going to make sure to try to abuse that. Like, no, it's just, that's how, that might not be the factually best decision, right? Now, the Ant-Seal shielding in the middle is already out. This one is starting to fall as well, but the Leikas are completely gone. That being said, the Hydra stack is still pretty powerful. I feel like when the Cyprians turn on them, they are going to need to scamper up the ramp. That still ended up being more cost-efficient than I thought for Hamster, but he is indubitably down. I mean, you're talking about, in this case, having 7 Masons working the ranks in the top right, and it looks like one of them is down here waiting to be ordered. Aziracors are out. They're going to help clean up this position. 1 Leikas will seal the deal, as if the rest of the army wasn't enough to do that already. Unfortunately for Shambler, he will not evacuate with all of his army. Many of it will be routed. What's he been doing in the meantime? Making a ministry, not on location, so he will be okay on that front. He's got his Ant-Seal coming out from the star pad. He is going to try to keep that count up. Jakulansky's degen strategy makes a return, but it's not really degen at this point. I guess this whole game has been kind of degen, if you want to use that terminology. I can't remember who even came up with that term for it, but basically, if you opened with a Kagrant and airlifted it with your Avaleth, and then dropped it to make a Circuith on the natural, that was basically the way that worked out. Now it's even more degen because you could do the Khaz'it and just hold it with units. Well, this one Maverick has spotted the drop. I don't know if Shambler himself has spotted the drop. Acherosk about 75% of the way complete. I feel like Hamster's okay in this position, honestly. But you can never know. You can never know. He's got he's down workers. That's pretty customary for Zerg. Ministry moving over to the natural. Yeah, on bases with these neutral town centers, being able to send excess workers there in an all-in situation makes a complete difference in the economics, right? If you just have been delaying your natural this whole time, but you still have map control, you can do it this way. You can do what Shambler is doing, and then you'll still be padding your economy quite a bit. That will allow you to afford the ministry that you need whilst you still keep up the pressure militarily speaking. So 4 Anseals, one of them very wounded, a whole horde of bio, and a Trojan for the Cyprian. So we will actually see a Cyprian drop after all. And there are some units patrolling for it, but will Hamster scramble them to the front? The answer, I think when you see Khaz'it Lake is, at this point, like, Shambler can't really, realistically, breach this with bio. One way he could try to do it is if he went mass drop, because then he could just doom drop the main, and there wouldn't really be a recourse here for Hamster. He would have to unbro his Lakes and abandon the static defense. So he doesn't want to do Phalanx. I mean, we talked about that in a previous cast, and he commented saying he thinks Phalanxes slow him down too much. He did say in the context of going tier 2, not that he even wants to go tier 2 in most games, he's just spamming mineral-only units, so I don't really know if that's true. But he is going to go ahead and get some value here with the Cyprians. That's something like 5 dead workers. Oh, 7 maybe 8 actually. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I count the corpses to 7, but it could have been another one somewhere. He still has 2 Cyprians in that Trojan. It will get routed. Unfortunately, Shambler will not unload any of those men. But did they pay for themselves? I feel like maybe not. Cyprians are 50 minerals, 50 gas, right? So losing 3 of them plus the Trojan, which is 100 minerals and 50 gas, for 7 worker kills and some economic disruption, I think you'd be coping to say that that broke even. I'm not even sure that it broke even. You know what I mean? All right, so Shambler not necessarily feeling too spiffy after that, but he's got good map control. You know, the one Oveleth scouting stuff around is one thing, but he's covering the bases. He's got Mavericks everywhere. He's got miners over here. Still is not mining bottom left, but he's only got the 1 Mason just watching instead of harvesting. What do we got here? 8 stockades producing units. Cyprians are going to go ahead and unload here. That Trojan is going to need to get the hell out of Dodge. And they only get like 2 workers this time. This is even more of a dud, I think. Even more DOA than the previous one. It doesn't look like the Trojan will get out either. So I think actually Shambler is up against a Zerg that's got the correct read at this point. Like, he pulls all of the anti-air defenders, the second drop getting nothing done. When you drop and there's no other threat of a frontal attack, then there's full focus on defending the drop. You can't really guarantee versus a player of Hamster's caliber you're going to be able to get anything done there. So he set up the pseudo-contain. He does have a Palladium coming, so he's going to experiment with the Phalanxes after all. Anseal on the way. Yeah, I feel like overall, my read on what we got here from Shambler is he's got a very big army, so Hamster can't hope to leave. But he's just going for tier 2 on 2 base. That's what he's mined up for. Yeah, he just sent it up. So even though Hamster can't hope to overpower the army, the Lake is here with the Khaz'it is going to make it so that it's really hard for the bio to push through. That being said, I really don't like that he's going for it. Like, yeah, you don't want to fight versus the Lake is in the choke anyway, and the Khaz'it makes it so that their initial attack, not their return attack, is multiplied. So it can be even more chancy, dicey, quite literally, slicey and dicey for that to happen. So we have the Phalanx can be on the way at some point here, but Shambler has not queued it up. Like, if he kept his army at full strength, there would be no hope here for Hamster to move out and egress. But that being said, he still shouldn't be able to win this fight as Zerg. The Stim Mavericks kick in, and yeah, that has to be a wrap. Like, Hamster cannot get out. He needs to wait for tier 2. And Shambler needs to wait for his Phalanxes, but he's going to push the issue again. I don't think he realized how many Hydras were in the back there. Not enough patience for our Terran player right now to get through the hyper-defensive move that Hamster has gone. So it looks like we might be seeing... Oh, it's actually a Tethvith Swamp on the way. So we could see, you know, Bactyls, Teth Zoracors, Vithralisks. Obviously not very important right now. There's no air. Nothing in the sky here for Shambler. He's lost all of his Anseals even. More reinforcements on the way. Mass Cyprian. Definitely a factor. One thing that might help versus the Khaz'it kind of situation, if you're worried about gas, is the fact that you can build the ridge caps now. We'll see if that ends up being a thing. Obviously, the Zerg can do it too, so it's not like it's only a Terran thing. But interesting stuff here. Looks like the Khaz'Trith drop is going to be up next. Atlas, oh yeah, that Neblime loves this Atlas positioning. That is excellent. Good job, Neblime. So we've got a fourth base on the way here for Shambler as he slowly saturates the minerals here. He's setting up a nice, very, very nice containment here with his bio, but it will be pushed out eventually, especially as, I mean, Teths are coming online, which is one thing. We do have some Hurakans to try to run their armor, but if Bactylisks come out in any number, plus the Khaz'Trith, that is going to be deadly. Trying to set up shop at 12 o'clock. I mean, he made the Palladium, but I think this is the first time he's making a Phalanx. Does he? Oh, he has one. So he's going to go up to 2 Phalanxes, and the Zerg is at tier 2, you know what I mean? So, I don't know. I feel like a Doom Drop would have been good if he were going to spend all this gas on a Palladium and Phalanxes. And also, you know, the Phalanxes earlier might have helped out. So this push comes in. The stims are good. The Hurakan's not actually engaging with the fight. I don't know what's up with that exactly. And the Khaz'Trith gets dropped, but it's too late. I think, yeah, Hamster has got to fall back. Remember that there's still all of these Lakes, and no more detection has been made. There's one Anseal left. It's precious for Shambler's chances. He's going to have to remax his bio. He didn't make any healing, so every stim is permanent as well. Khaz'Trith's going to try to inch forward. I think versus the Phalanx, you just can't do that as well. Now, Shambler is not guarding his Phalanxes very well. So, I mean, the whole matchup shifts once these Phalanxes get set up. He's even going to go ahead and unpack them, give them a little bit of an armor boost. The Anseal comes over. That can be sniped down very quickly if Shambler isn't careful. One of those Lake is oh, it unburrows for a moment and gets shellacked immediately. A second Phalanx has come to replenish that one that just died, and that looks like, yeah, Shambler's in a pretty good position to continue the contain. The Khaz'Trith isn't sniped yet, but, I mean, realistically speaking, Hamster, he's run a, you know, you could say fallow in his main base. He's starting to get depleted. Shambler just has way more economy. His tier 2 is complete. He's going to add starports for the air. And his containment will still continue to make things happen. The Hydras are not enough. No Bactyls are there. And that is a wrap for the army. There's only a few Lakes left. Shambler doesn't know it, but if he blind A-moved now, he would probably win. That being said, many more Hydras have since replenished, so maybe it's not the case anymore. We got some Anseals idling as well. Inching forward with the Phalanx. Yeah, this is a very strange way for this game to have gone. I'm not going to lie to you guys. This is a very bizarre method of doing it. But that's a dead Khaz'Trith. That it goes G, and that's it. Oh, Hamster hit him with a single G. I wonder if that was intentional. Sometimes, you know, when somebody who doesn't normally do the single G says the single G, I want, is that intentional? You know, that's pretty funny. So, okay. 6 Stockade Hurakan into 1 Zorkish Shroud opener. I can't believe this. All right. Normal game tomorrow? I mean, normal game right now because we got one more. That's right. Let's see. Is it a normal game on Demilune? Our Midnight Green Zerg in Hamster is in the top left, and our White Terran in the bottom right here is Shambler. This is the last game that they had uploaded. Will Shambler be able to secure 5 wins in the set? Or is Hamster going to get the all-important 3? If he gets 3 wins, that means he actually wins, because he got 3. And I guess Shambler did get 3 wins, but then he got more than 3 wins, which is not 3. Let me know what you think in the comments below. And now, a sponsored sip time as I enjoy some vanilla seltzer. All right. I am seeing a very fast stockade out of the Shambler. I did not keep track of when exactly it came up. Oh, yeah, this was definitely a very early. This might have been a 6th stockade. We got I was going to say 7th stockade, but I meant the second one. That was an 8th stockade for the second one. And a Shroud opening again from Hamster. So we're running back to the same strat. Will we see another absolute barn burner? By the way, I said that at the beginning that we wouldn't get to 47 minutes. I mean, we'll get over that if this game goes the same way as the last one, I think. I wasn't really keeping tabs on the time. What a bizarre matchup that was. I will say one thing about casting Hamster versus the Shambler. You know, they almost rhyme for one, and for another, they do play really bizarre Cosmonarchy, dude. Like, there's real bizarre real-time strategy going on. Real bizarre strategy, RBS. And, yeah, it's the 1 Hurakan, 2 Hurakan. So he goes up to 3, and then he starts the Mavericks, which doesn't suck. We've already got the defensive circuit in play. Hamster going for the extra larva trick there. I don't know if he can really use it with Shroud, but it's good to keep practice. LMAO. Shambler can't really say anything because Shambler has done this in like 3 games now. So for Hamster to preempt it with a Circuith is not like... No, it was Zorka's first. But it's not like, you know... You can't be like, you're bad. You preempted my strategy that I've done this whole time. You know what I mean? that's the essence of the LMAO that I felt. Of course, Shambler probably didn't mean it quite like that, but that's just what I feel. That's just how I feel. Look at the Harakans coming out across the bridge. The Zoryus are... The Zoryus are being bopped, but hey, that does provide the Rillarokor to slow this advance. And look at that, the lake is on the ramp. The second lake is on the ramp. Oh boy, we got ourselves a no way, no how Shambler can win this without gas. He's already started the harvest. 4th stockade, he's going to commit to the containment pretty early here. Will Hamster allow it? That's the question. We got what seems to me like what would you say? I guess it's a Larvosk in the making. I was thinking of something else to say there, but I can't remember what it was. And yeah, I don't know. Hamster could probably go up to like double Larvosk. I don't think he can be broken, but the Huracan count is starting to get pretty scary. I will give him that. If we only have 2 Lakes here, that could potentially be a problem. Another Zoryus starts. Yeah, Shambler actually has a window here where he doesn't even necessarily need the gas. He's got the star pad to come in for the, I don't know if you want to call it the transition. Unfortunately, that Huracan just gets absolutely blown up. Oh, looks like there was a pause. He rounds about. Wow, the dirty tactic of pausing into a straight battle. He takes the land, but it's at great cost. Can't believe it. Oh, the Rillarokor snipes a few Hurakans on the way out. Ahmed got bopped by, you know, back in the day, he was eating Mikken, but the Mikken just ate him. Let's see, Zoryus tanking plenty. Another Huracan falls. Waypointing some more. We got 2 Lakes out, 3 Zoryus. The strange Dino unit is still doing quite a bit. This is the Dino Man, by the way. Dino Man. Anseal on the way here for detection and for shielding. We do love to see that. I'm trying to see what Hamster can realistically do here in this position. He's getting soft contained again. And if the Phalanx ever shows up, that'll turn into a real hard contain real fast. He is making the Ovolith, so I think he's going to transfer the Kagrin at some point. I mean, he doesn't have one started yet. Looks like the bio is going to wander in as the Lakes are repositioning. The Hurakans are standing in line. This is potentially quite dangerous. The Mavericks get in pretty deep. Where is the Anseal? It's not here yet. I can see it flying across. It's going to be some time. Shambler may have pulled the trigger a bit too soon. That one Zoryus very, very low. Not quite going to fall. He's only got 6 Mavericks on this side. He's got a couple more on the other. Here comes the Anseal to reveal. The Stim tries to converge, but the Rillarokors have made it so difficult. They're not focusing on the same target. Oh, there was multiple stacked on top of each other. That's a dirty Brood War trick. That's a Brood War era trick right there, stacking them on. I don't even know if it was intentional, to be honest. We got more of them coming on in from all sides. These Zoryus are so heavily bruised. Now, the Hatrosk will finish. The Lakes is also very, very wounded. There's the preemptive Stim. One of them goes down. A full HP Lakes still exists. He gets sort of sharked off upwards. There goes the Zoryus. So the last brood spawn has fallen. We got 3 more Zoryus on the way. 2 Lakes just hatched. I don't think Shambler can continue the assault, but he's welcome to try to change my mind. I think there's way too many Lakes there. He still picks off one of them and only loses 4 Mavericks for it. Yeah, I guess the biggest issue right now is the replenishment factor, the replenishment rate of Hamster versus the Shambler. It's very much Zerg favored right now, and the Lakes are going to charge forward. That's going to clean house. We still have a decent number of Mavericks here, but no way to rend the armor and no way to intercept those Lakes projectiles either by standing on top of them or anything to change what they focus on. No pullback from Shambler is a bit of a mistake there. He does still pick a single Zoryus. He's doing okay. It just feels like it's a dwindling factor. His Ministry is on the way. We still have some static defense being erected here. I love this Circuith positioning because it just reminds me, it's like, all right, in case he runs by, you know, he's going to try to see if he can focus down the Zoryus. He will be successful in that. He'll kill a Kagrin as well. That's not bad. This is not a bad situation for Shambler at all. He even trades 1 Maverick to cancel that other Kagrin. Oh, man. Wait, hold on. Don't be so confident here, Mr. Hamster. You're losing one Lakis. Will you lose another? The stem was a little bit late, and the end seal's not there. Oh, just narrowly provides some vision. The tightest of margins as 3 more Mavericks slip in to the undefended main base. They're not going to be able to stand tall, or are they? With the help of the Ant Seal, I don't think so. It will go the way of the Zerg, but we've got Cyprians on the front lines, and they are going to be a different story. If that Zorius goes down, there's not going to be much to block the shots. Oh, the ensnare, though. It slows him down. Not quite enough. We got Zeth's out, but that's exactly what the Cyprians want to fight. Are the Ant Seals enough to shield them? There's no pullback on the front Cyprians, and there goes the shielding from those poor Ant Seals in the front. They can do nothing but watch on. I think they might have done enough. That one lake is not quite falling. Vornath immediately. Okay, we're starting to get into the action, boys. So Hamster's going to be going for either Nathricors or Vorvricors. Either way, it'll be in a better position. The non-stop Bioflux has been rallied across the map for the last 5 minutes. Maybe a little bit longer if you count the 6th Arcade opener. And remember, this Hatrosk has been taking a beating, getting slammed. Still no Hurakans, 2 Ant Seals only. Do we have another one waiting? Not quite yet. That Hatrosk is going to get popped. There is no saving it. Has to watch out for the Lakis. Still no healing. He's not refusing to put any brakes on his Stockade production. So there's some Quas out. Not the best. He has popped the hatch. He secured himself quite a bit of an advantage in terms of economy. The Quas swarm has arrived. The lake is burrowing in full view and vision of the Ant Seals, and that's going to be 2 of them going down immediately, but no pullback from Shambler makes this a lot harder for him. He only has a few Cyprians left to deal with all the Quas. There are the stimmed Mavericks. Only 1 Ant Seal has shields. And even then, while he's fighting outside of his Lakis range, Hamster, have you made the critical error? I think maybe he has. There's only 1 Lakis in his way, and that is it. GG. Shambler has just run roughshod over him. GG, and then oops. Well, is that the next clan he's joining? Is that what we're seeing? All right, boys. That was a pretty cool hype and way to end the set. Shambler ends up taking it with 5 games to the 2. Obviously, we did get to 47 minutes after all, so egg on my face, perhaps crow on my plate, but hey, I am a crow. So I'll get off my own plate now, and it'll be time for another cast tomorrow. Join us then. Peace.